Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
What Lonzo thinks is a wide-ranging, free-flowing discussion where I offer my unsolicited views on everything from music, movies, politics, sports, religion, pop culture, you name it. If it's happening, I'm talking about it. My thoughts are unsolicited. If you don't like my thoughts, I'm going to slap you in your mouth. All right, and I have a special guest with me, Jake Wade. Son, what's the business?
Yo. I'm ready to slap somebody in the mouth, too.
Slap the taste out of your mouth. Used to be my homie. Used to be my ace. Now I want to slap the taste out your mouth. Nigga, by down to the road. Fucking me, now I'm fucking you, little hoe.
Oh, don't think I forgot.
And let you slide. Oh, that song's appropriate, ain't it, man?
It is.
Yeah. Have you heard the Redman song, Slap the Taste Out Your Mouth?
Yeah. Well, is that what it's called?
It's called Slap You in the Mouth or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah, I listened to it the other day, man. It's really appropriate, man. I think that song's gonna get a lot of clicks. So.
Well, if you're talking about slapping somebody in the mouth, you're in for some good numbers.
Exactly. So yeah, it's gonna be a bonanza for all the slap happy people out there in the entertainment industry. So a lot of folks about to get paid, and the number one person that's about to get paid is Chris Rock. If you don't believe me, after the incident, he did a show. I think he started his national tour. He started, and I think in Boston. Was it Boston? Yeah, I think it's.
I have no idea.
Yeah, he started in Boston. I think on Wednesday, and the show sold out. And his tour dates have been selling out like hot fire, wildfire, should I say, since the incident. So this obviously, we're going to talk a little bit about everything that happened, but financially, this is one of the best things that happened to Chris Rock in a minute. So there's a lot of collateral damage and collateral. What's the opposite of damage? Collateral. Improvement.
I would say bounty. I don't know.
Okay, collateral bounty from the incident as well. So let's just back up, and of course, it is known as the slap heard around the world. And unless you've been under a rock or on Jupiter for the last week or so, we all know that at the Oscars, it was Will Smith's crowning achievement. He finally got his Best Actor award, and Chris Rock was on stage to present the Academy Award for Best Documentary, which was won by Questlove. And before he got into the announcement of the award, Chris actually ad-libbed and went off script and cut a joke on Jada Pinkett Smith, who of course is Will Smith's wife, and she happens to be bald because she has a condition known as alopecia. And Chris made an insensitive joke relating to the movie G.I. Jane, which starred Demi Moore. And, of course, everybody remembers that Demi Moore shaved her head for the G.I. Jane role. And Chris's joke was that Jada would be starring in G.I. Jane number 2. And at first glance, Will Smith gave your traditional ha, very funny, award show laugh. But Jada's reaction was nowhere near in the laughing mood. She rolled her eyes. She was obviously hurt by what Chris said, and the takeaway, or I guess what it appears is that Will looked over at her, saw the hurt in her face, and he snapped, went on stage and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock, and went back to his chair. And not once but twice said, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. And Chris is like, wow. keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. And of course, ABC television was on a delay, so they did block it out, so you didn't hear it if you were on ABC television. But of course, the worldwide feed, we all heard everything that he said. And Chris was visibly shaken by what happened. Who wouldn't be? It was a very tense and embarrassing moment for all involved. And of course, there was a lot of fallout from it. So, all right, so I've recapped it. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into it, my man. Go ahead and state your case.
Okay, so I may diverge from what a lot of people think. So I really think, how can I start this? Okay, definitely on Team Chris, if you want to call it that.
Okay.
But you have people with the hot take of, this was Will defending his wife, who was hurt by an insensitive joke because Chris knew all about it and all this stuff, and he needed to do it because now we need to protect black women. That's what he needed to do. It wasn't anything like that, in my opinion. I think Will, who has been a meme for a while now, crying and everything because his wife cheated on him and confessed it on some internet show.
Red Table Talk. That's Jada's. I think it's on Facebook. Jada's show called Red Table Talk. So
I've never watched it, so I have no idea.
Okay.
He thought, I can't let this man punk me on live TV. My manhood is at stake. People are already laughing at me. I'm already a joke. I need to show that I'm a man. And it wasn't really about his wife. It was about him regaining his manhood. And what he decided to do was assault a man on live TV in front of everybody and dominate the news cycles. And, he certainly is kind of losing out now. But he thought, yeah, everybody's gonna see that you don't mess with me. I'm not a joke. I'm a man. So that's what I see about this. I don't think it was staged, and I really don't think it was. I need to protect my wife. I don't think that it was. I think he really did think it was funny. And when he saw her face, he thought, well, I'm probably gonna get it when I get home. And plus, my manhood is at stake. I better do this. So that's my thought about it.
Okay. And
wait. I'll also say, yes, we do need to protect black women. I'm not against that at all. I just don't think he was doing that.
Okay. All right. I've taken everything that you said. Okay. You're Team Chris. I'm Team Will. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you why. There's a lot to unpack when it comes to this whole incident, man. Because if you take it at face value, it is what it is, but it ain't what it ain't. Okay. All right. First of all, in my opinion, what Will did, he wasn't slapping Chris Rock. He wasn't protecting Jada. What Will was doing was that he was slapping almost over 30 years of frustration. Okay? Everything just came to a boiling point. And I was talking to a friend about this today. Everybody has a moment in their life, especially as black men, where you gotta just say fuck it. You know what I mean? And just go for self. Unfortunately, Will's fuck it, go for self moment happened on the biggest stage, in his profession at the most inopportune time. So sometimes, opportunity chooses us, and sometimes we choose opportunity. Okay? And I think this is a situation where opportunity chose Will, and Will was powerless to stop it. Once the wheels started in motion, no pun intended, he had to kind of finish it out. Now, that being said, Will Smith has been called soft ever since Rock the House, which was the debut album of Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Everybody in the hip hop community has referred to this dude as soft. Okay, folks, especially the black community, have referred to him as a sellout. And obviously, he's catered to the white folks because white audiences up until this moment loved him. Okay, he's one of the biggest movie stars ever in the history of film. And he's been in blockbuster after blockbuster. And these are, these are traditionally been films that are, mainstream films that that white audiences love. White folks love Will Smith. He's safe. Okay, he has the charisma. He has that $1 million smile. He has an impeccable reputation as somebody who basically checks all the blocks when it comes to a black person, a black entertainer who is acceptable to America, to white America, corporate America. So all those things kind of factor in, and obviously Will is everything but soft. Dude from West Philly, you can't be soft from West Philly. It's just impossible to come from where he came from and in the environment that he came from and be soft. It just don't work that way. As somebody from the hood, I can attest to that. Okay? Obviously, you got the factor that he's light-skinned. Most light-skinned black dudes are, at first glance, considered to be soft. You know what I mean? So, and, a lot of folks in there, a lot of hip-hop artists in their records and everything, Will Smith don't have to cuss in this rap to sell records. What I do, well, fuck Will and fuck you too. I mean, dude's been getting it for a long time. And when the whole thing with Jada kind of came up with her relationship with her entanglement with the singer August Alsina came out, that was just more wood on the fire of the Will Smith is soft fire. And last Sunday night was Will Smith's night. Everybody and their grandma knew he was going to win the Oscar for King Richard, and well deserved. It was his moment finally at the top of the mountain. Okay? And then Chris Rock's going to come out there and do what he did, which was poor timing on Chris's part for a number of different reasons. It was just wrong. I mean, this was Will's night. Chris knew it, everybody else knew it. So it ain't like this shit was a shock. So I think all that just boiled over. Will sitting there, front row, it's his night. His night to shine. A black man's night to shine at the top of the movie world. And Chris comes out and does that. And, everything just kind of flowed out from there. Obviously, Will was regretful, in the aftermath. And I'm not sure if he had 100 times to do it over, he would have done it differently. But at that one time, at that one moment, everything boiled over. And he did what he did. And now he has to deal with the consequences. And yeah, there should be consequences. But at the same time, I don't condone what he did, but I get it. I understand. And that's where I stand on, that's why I'm Team Will, is that, like I said before, at sometimes you gotta just say, hell with it, I'll take the consequences. I've been punked enough in my life, and this is the last time, because I just got punked, really, on the biggest stage in the world, on my night, and that was just too much. My thoughts. So, what's your rebuttal?
Well, I don't disagree with anything you said at all. Mm-hmm. I do agree with pretty much everything. I think, yeah, it was certainly a boiling point. Just all of the stuff coming to a head, as they say, and he had to react in some way, and it just happened to be in a terrible way. However, I'm not changing what I said, mm-hmm. because I think the last straw actually was my wife cheated on me thing. And this was just like, oh no, I can't believe this is happening again. I'm
Okay. Let me clarify something, okay? Okay. Jada didn't cheat on Will. Okay, let's get that out in the open. She didn't cheat on him. All right? They were separated. He has acknowledged that, and she has a
No, wait. So you're saying separation means we get to date other people?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, you're talking to somebody who's been married 3 times, okay?
So you're
There's
still
a difference.
Married.
There's
you're
a difference.
You're still married,
mm-hmm.
but you can go and do whatever you want to do with anybody else because you're separated.
Yes. Okay.
You're not planning to get divorced. You are separated.
No. Once again, take it from someone who's been there and done that more than once. Okay? There is a difference. All right? Okay. Now, if you're separated with the intent of getting back together, that's one thing. Okay, you know, we're taking a break from each other, and we're gonna try to work things out, go through counseling, this and the third. That's one thing. They have both said that the marriage was over. Okay, Will acknowledged that, and Jada acknowledged that. They were just married on paper. I think she was living in she either here moved out of the house. They weren't living together at the time either when all this kind of went down. And once again, we can only, go by what they say. Either we can take it at face value as being the truth, or we can take it as being something else. But anyways, if you're married and then you separate and both parties have agreed that this marriage is over and we're just married just legally and that's it, and you decide to see other people, then that's not cheating. Okay, maybe if you go into biblical sense, or if you're splitting hairs, yeah, it's cheating. But because once again, I've been there. Me and my ex-wife, the wife of my children, okay, she and I were separated for years. Okay, all right, but we're never getting back together. She moved out, and went on her life. I went on with mine. We were just married on paper. We never ever, lived together as husband and wife, or did anything as husband and wife other than in the face of the children, like attending events and all that kind of stuff as husband and wife. But and this was several years, and I had several relationships with women, full-blown relationships with women while I was still married. And she had relationships with men while we were still married. She had a dude move in with her, while we were still married, and I didn't care. I couldn't object to it because our marriage was over by all intents and purposes. There was no intent to get back together. Now, with Will and Jada, they both said that they agreed that the marriage was over. They were moving on, and obviously she got involved with the guy. Let Will know about it. Will was all right with it because he was seeing other people too. Okay, so and folks say, well, instead of slapping Chris Rock, why didn't you slap the dude who was entangling with Jada? Why you gonna slap that dude? Do they did nothing to Will? Will knew about it. It was a consensual relationship.
Why is it though? From what I hear, he did beat the guy up in private. Why'd he do that? If he didn't care, why'd he do that?
Now, if he did beat him up in private, even after the agreement, then that's another that's a whole different kettle of fish.
From what I hear, I'm not so much into gossip, but from what I've been told by different people, he actually did beat the guy up after he found out, and that's why the guy made the song. So yeah, if he didn't care, what'd he beat him up for?
Yeah, if that's the case, if he didn't care, if he did care and he got in his feelings because of that, then that's a whole different story. But once again, at the same time, if they agreed to separate and to see other people, then he gets mad because she actually does it, then that's his malfunction. Once again, the guy didn't do anything wrong. And Jada didn't do anything wrong because they agreed to it. If you agree to something and then you welch on it, that don't make because you don't like the terms of the agreement, that don't make the other person responsible. That's your personal malfunction.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like for example, once again, speaking about my situation, when the dude moved in with my ex-wife and everything, was living there with my kids and my ex-wife and everything, I felt a type of way about it. I didn't like it, there's always gonna be that little twinge somewhere in the crevice of your soul that's gonna sting a little bit, but it's what you do about it. I remember going over there to my ex-wife's house and everything, walking in and seeing this motherfucker sitting on on the sofa that I paid for, sitting there, and I felt a type of way about it, but I couldn't get mad at him. He didn't do anything to me. Okay, he didn't break my family up. My family's already broken. So I'm like, what's up, dude? How you doing? As long as I talk to my kids, do you guys like him and all this kind of stuff, and is he touching y'all or is he doing anything inappropriate, all this kind of stuff? No, he cool and everything. So as long as he's not doing anything negative or being a negative influence in my kid's life, then I can't say nothing else about anything that's going on, even though me and Starla were still married.
I get that.
Okay,
but
Obviously,
Yeah, why Will care?
once again, he's an individual, so maybe, obviously Will has more to lose than I do. Obviously, he lives in the public eye. Jada lives in the public eye, so I'm sure there's a lot of different factors that really don't account for me that account for him, that he has to kind of take into consideration. Obviously, I'm sure they didn't want the word. He didn't want the word to get out that Jada was sleeping with somebody else, especially might hurt his career and all this kind of stuff. Obviously, make him fodder for the tabloids and all that kind of stuff, which he did anyway. But like I said, they're operating in a whole different stratosphere than most people are. So there's a lot of tentacles to everything that they do since they live in the public eye. So I understand that. So that could have factored in as well to what he did. I don't know, but the point is that folks or out there are saying, why didn't he beat up August, or why didn't he slap August and he slapped Chris? August wasn't standing on the stage saying, I'm fucking Jada or something and punking him. That was Chris. So trying to drag the whole situation with August into it is just deflection, and it has nothing to do with what happened on Sunday night. So, go.
Yeah, so I'm not of the thought that he should have gone after that guy. I mean, you're right. He didn't do anything wrong. If they truly were separated and the relationship was over, like I said, I don't follow them. I do not.
I don't either.
I happen to know these things because, you kind of, there's some things you can't get away from.
Right.
It's just like, if you're on the internet, you're going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't, again, I don't follow their lives. I don't know anything about that. So if they truly were separated and they were not going to get back together, all right. They should have proceeded on for some divorce, but I guess the reason they didn't, whatever. It's complicated. So, but no, I don't think he should have gone after that guy. I mean, there's no point. But at the same token, Chris Rock is a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian. That's
Right.
what stand-up comedians do.
Yeah.
And the way that I see it is this. Do you really think Will Smith would have jumped up there and slapped Dave Chappelle or Eddie Murphy or Steve Harvey?
Hell no.
Right. He picked a man that he thought wasn't going to do anything.
Well, for one, he knew he can bust Chris' ass. Chris Little. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, but is that a negative? Dude, I'm not going to pick a fight with somebody I know I can't beat their ass.
But if you're going to snap, you just snap, right?
Yeah.
If Dave Chappelle were up there as bra-like as he is now, if he's up there on stage and he's making jokes about Jada being bald, should he snap then?
Hey, he could have snapped or could have not snapped. But once again, just because you snap don't mean you can't measure up the situation that even though I snapped, this motherfucker can still beat the brakes off of me. Come on.
Right. So,
once again, I've been there, so I understand. I've been there.
So then he snapped. He snapped at that moment. It's like, this is an opportune time to snap because Chris ain't doing nothing to me.
Yeah, I'm sure that probably factor in. Once again, I can only speak for myself. Like I said, I've been in situations where I've snapped on somebody that's bigger than me that can beat my ass. I've done that before. Okay, I've done that before, and I didn't care. Let me give you an example. I remember one night, man. I was in a nightclub. This is obviously I was younger, in my 20s or whatever, right? I'm in the men's bathroom with a friend of mine. He and I are kind of having a beef with each other, whatever, right? And this dude walks in. I didn't know, I knew the guy, but we weren't like boys or anything. Anyway, I knew the guy. And he's a big dude, whatever, right? And I'm mad at my homeboy. We going off on each other. We weren't going to fight or anything. We were just kind of having a disagreement or whatever, right? And dude comes into the bathroom and he looks at us and everything, right? And I look at him and I'm like, what the fuck you looking at? You know what I'm saying? Because I was I was in the heat of the moment. Dude bigger than me. I knew there's no way I can beat dude's ass. You know what I mean? He had to wait on me. But at that moment, I'm like, fuck you looking at? He like, what? You talking to me? I said, yeah, motherfucker, I'm talking to you. And blah, 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 blah. I should escalate or whatever, right? To the point where we about to go to blows. And I didn't give a damn. I was prepared to take that ass whooping. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, I knew I was going to take an ass whooping if I did, swing at this motherfucker. But I was prepared to swing at him, and folks had to grab me and drag me out the motherfucking bathroom. So I get it. Been there, done that. So I was in the heat of the moment, and I escalated things, and I was more than prepared to swing on this motherfucker. And the only reason I didn't swing on him was because folks grabbed me. See what I'm saying? Now, there was nobody there to grab Will, but yeah, there could have been, once again, we're speaking hypotheticals, but yeah, if it was Dave Chappelle, you know what I'm saying? And, Will might, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
My opinion is that Will would not have done it if it was Dave Chappelle. But at the same time, I don't think Dave Chappelle would have went there. Because one thing, because Dave, once again, when it comes to punching down, Dave is sensitive to that shit. And Dave's comedy is not so much. Chris Rock's brand of comedy is more insulting than Dave Chappelle's. Dave Chappelle's comedy is more intellectual. Eddie Murphy don't crack on folks like that, other than Bill Cosby. But Eddie Murphy really don't punch down on folks like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
especially
Steve
later.
Harvey definitely does.
Well, I mean,
even though he's old, Steve Harvey does.
Yeah.
And Steve Harvey
but
would take Will Smith out.
Yeah, but Steve got sent. Now, when it comes to political correctness, Steve Harvey, he got way, that dude is too savvy to go there. So Steve wouldn't go there. You know what I mean?
So you're basically saying Chris is dumb.
No, I'm not saying Chris is dumb, but I'm saying Chris's brand of comedy feeds into that. Okay? That was a Chris Rock joke. That's why he ad-libbed that. That was not part of the script. That was vintage Chris Rock. Okay? But what I'm saying, Tim's brand, not Tim, Chris Rock's brand of comedy, fed into that. Because I guarantee you, well, I can't guarantee anything, but I'm pretty certain that Dave Chappelle wouldn't have gone there. Eddie Murphy definitely would not have gone there. And I don't think Steve Harvey is too corporate to go there. Now, there are some lower... Yeah, I was going to say there are some lower level comedians who would go there, like a Cat Williams or Eddie Griffin, people like that. Yeah. But they would never be on the show anyway. You know what I mean? But yeah, some lower level comedians, yeah, hell yeah, they would go there. Hell yeah. But Cat Williams can't beat nobody's ass,
No, but he's known for fighting people.
Yeah, he got choked out by some kid in the project. So, so Cat ain't got no juice. Obviously, Eddie Griffin can't bust nobody's ass. So ain't nobody worry about Eddie Griffin. But like I'm saying, there's a lot of comedians out there who are D-level comedians who absolutely would have gone at Will like that, and Will would not have gone after them. So.
But it's just strange to me that he could snap, but he could also snap and be like, well, this is an okay time to do it.
No, there's levels to this motherfucking game, man. Well, there's levels. I'm not saying that's what happened, but there's levels to this shit, man. I mean, Will is no idiot. Okay, Will is very, very, very intelligent. So I'm sure somewhere in the recesses of his brain, the information that processed at that time processed those factors. You know what I mean? And led him, down the path he went down. You know what I'm saying? So, but look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. If that was Jimmy Kimmel and Tom Cruise, do you think the same thing would have happened?
No. Nobody white. Nobody white. They could have made the joke.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to jump up there and slap somebody on TV. I'm not saying black people do that kind of thing, but white comedians would not. I can't think of one white person who would have done that, honestly.
Who would have slapped or would have made the joke?
Oh, somebody would have made a joke. Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, I can think of many comedians who probably would have made the joke, because there are a lot of white comedians who are just kind of mean in their comedy.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody would have retaliated like that. And in fact, let's say we're like Chris Pratt up there, and he made the joke. Do you think Will Smith would have slapped him?
Is Chris Pratt a comedian?
Yeah, I mean, not like a stand-up comedian, but I mean, he's known for being funny.
No, I think anybody white would have slapped him. Anybody white, I don't care who it is.
Think so?
Yeah, just because of the whole white-black dynamic, I think he would have done it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think there's anybody out there, white dude out there in the entertainment industry that can beat Will Smith's ass, first of all. I don't think there's no white comedians out there, they got the kind of juice to beat Will's ass. I'm just saying.
I mean,
I can't think of one.
Somebody like
if Bill Burr,
Dane Cook.
come on, man. Will beat the brakes off of Dane Cook, man. Come on, get real.
He's muscular.
I don't care. Nah. I can probably beat Dane Cook's ass, man. Shit. So there's probably somebody out there white that can beat Will Smith's ass, but I don't know who it is. You know what I mean? There's nobody that jumps up to the top of my mind that, yeah, this is somebody that you don't want to fuck with. You know what I mean? That's just the whole white-black dynamic. Black guys just inherently think they can beat a white dude's ass no matter what. That's just,
yeah, but at the same time, I don't foresee Will making the judgment of, I'm going to slap a white man on TV. Just like I don't think a white man would jump up and slap a black man on TV. I don't see that.
Now, once again, from a corporate standpoint, Will probably more likely than not would not have done the same thing to a white comedian. But I can't say for certain that he would not have, because once again, when Jada rolled her eyes and Will looked at her, you know what I mean, it was on. It was on. Once again, I've been there, motherfucking done that. Okay.
Well, I'm also of the mindset that there was another way to handle it. Mm-hmm. A real man. I'm not the kind of person who talks about what a real man does. I'm not an alpha male, and I don't care about that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But the right thing to do, in my opinion, if you're really upset, you don't go on freaking national, live, global TV and slap somebody because they made a joke. He could have stood up and been like, Chris, you and me right now. Let's go talk. Or we could have waited till some off-air moment. Presentation of something else. He could have actually just stood up and gave him like the eye, like you're gonna get it later. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to actually attack the man.
Of course, he didn't have to.
But he thought, hey, everybody's gonna see it. Everybody's gonna know Will Smith ain't no punk, and that's the way I see it.
I feel you. Once again, I'm not trying to interject myself into this or anything like that, man. But there's parallels that you can relate to because of your experiences and everything. So I'm going to share with the audience and you another experience that I went through that kind of helps define this moment. When I was in the military, okay, I was an airman. Used to work on the flight line, work on airplanes or whatever. And so one day, there was this van that we all would all ride in. It was kind of like a bread truck or whatever. That we'd ride in on the flight line from plane to plane, doing whatever we had to do as far as our work and everything, right? Anyways, one evening or whatever, I'm on this van working on the flight line, and I'm the only black dude on the van. There was maybe 6 or 7 white dudes that's in there, crew chiefs and everything. They work on the planes too. Anyways, long story short, I'm there, and the van stops, and another person gets in. A crew chief gets in. White guy. He's clearly mad about something. He just had a disagreement with someone, a black person, obviously, because he's mad, and he's cussing and saying this nigga. Okay, he didn't see me on the van, and immediately the other guy's like, "Hey, dude, cool it," and he's like, "Hey, kind of point, hey, you ain't by yourself," and this is back in the late '80s or whatever, and once again, in the military back then in that climate. It was not uncommon to hear white folks use that word, especially in the military. So, and plus I was a 1-striper, and this guy, he was a buck sergeant, was a 3-striper, he was an NCO. So you got the whole rank dynamic going on as well. So I pretty much just blew it off, because I've heard it before, you know what I mean? And really, it really don't bother me to hear folks say that unless they're directing it at me. Especially back then in that environment, being 19, 20 years old, a 1-striper in the Air Force. So I had no juice, in other words. So anyway, so I blew it off or whatever, right? And so dude looks at me after this. Everybody's like, "Hey, cool it." He looks at me and he says, "My bad, bro." That's what set me off. I equate that to Will blowing it off until he saw Jada. That was his "my bad, bro" moment. Okay? Dude looks at me and says, "My bad, bro." I'm like thinking to myself, okay, it's one thing for you to come in here using the N-word and all this kind of stuff. But you ain't gonna call me bro in the next breath. I ain't your motherfucking brother. So that shit set me off, and I went for self. I jumped this motherfucker and beat his ass. Okay? I'm a 1-striper beating an NCO, which is first in the Air Force, in the military, is a crime that you can, go to jail for and also get kicked out of the military for, get fired. But at that moment, I didn't care. So I went for self. And they had to pull me off this motherfucker. I went in his ass. Okay? And obviously there were consequences and everything, but thankfully the other guys backed me up and it was like, yeah, he did come on in. They did say that, he did use the N-word and this and that. That's the only thing that saved me because they confirmed you know, that dude did use the N word, and you know, my commander was like, you know, yeah, I got to punish you, but I'm not, you know, I understand that type of situation. So they demoted me, took some money from me for like 6 months, and it's like, hey, you keep your nose clean for 6 months, you'll get your stripe back and get your money back, and everything was all good. And they made the dude buy beer for like the squad for the squadron or whatever, right? So, and that was it. That was military justice. But the point that I'm making is, telling that story, is that this dude saying "my bad, bro" was the equivalent in some ways of Will being okay with it, looking at Jada and seeing the hurt on Jada's face, and that was his "my bad, bro" moment. And he that is what lit his fuse, and then he went for self. So once again, you know, there's a lot to unpack, but that was my takeaway. So go.
Well, you say, you know, you could face jail time for you know, beating somebody up in the military like that. You can face jail time for slapping somebody on live TV in public.
Yeah.
So, you know, slapping somebody, people think that slapping
It's
is, you know,
assault.
that's weak. It's not going to kill anybody, but it's assault. It's a crime.
Really, man, using an open hand slapping somebody is more egregious than using a fist.
Exactly. I was just about to say
Okay.
that was another thing about his so-called snapping.
Mm-hmm.
He knew,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he had his wits about him enough to think, oh, this is Chris Rock, I can beat him. And matter of fact, I'm going to emasculate him by open hand slapping him.
But another thing, but if you use your fist, there's a good chance you can knock them out cold. Versus slapping is not as, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if it were me, I would have done it for one thing. But if I just had to do it, I probably would have thought before I got up there, I shouldn't slap this dude. I shouldn't touch him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go up here and tell him it's on after the show.
I'm gonna beat your ass up. I'm gonna beat your ass after school.
Well, basically. But, you know, if you can actually, you know, formulate the idea of this man is weaker than me, I can take him out, and I'm going to emasculate him, you can probably come up with a different plan rather than, you know, showing your dominance on TV. Like, that's just the way I see it. You don't, I don't know. I'm not saying what Chris did was right, because it wasn't. You know, quite honestly, as much as I like stand-up comedy, I don't like mean comedy.
I don't either.
I've never liked when people like make fun of people in the front row. You know, talking about, you know, what somebody looks like, what somebody is wearing. You know, you know, oh, they're fat. You know, a white man and a black woman. You know, I don't like any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know, comedy is like that. That's what people do. I just think it's unfortunate. But at the same time, Chris Rock's been doing that his whole career.
Yeah.
Like, it's not new, and perhaps he really did not know about the alopecia thing. You know.
Oh, he knew.
I mean, I didn't know.
I did. So if I knew, Chris knew.
Well, if he did, then shame on him. If he didn't, you know, still, you know, you probably just shouldn't make fun of people. This is the way I see it. So he's not completely innocent, but at the same time, he handled it very well afterward.
Yeah.
He showed his professionalism after it was over.
Yeah.
So, you know, it showed that even in a tense moment, you don't have to flip out and show how ridiculous you really are. You know, you can snap and be upset and everything, but you can actually stay composed. And Will did not do that. And I guess that's why ultimately I am
Team Chris.
I'm really not on anybody's side. I don't even want to say Team Chris. I'm really not on anybody's side because this is a stupid
Chris, he's our man.
I mean, F that. Like, it's stupid. This is a dumb situation. Quite honestly, I wish that it never happened. It took away from...
Everybody feels that way, man. Come on, man. That's low-hanging fruit. Of course, nobody wished that would have happened, man. But you got...
But I'm just saying, like, it took away from... I don't care about the Oscars. I didn't watch it. I didn't know it happened until after, you know...
I didn't either.
Hours later.
I didn't either.
But you know, it took away from what was going on there. Questlove, you know, about to win his big Oscar. He's never going to win an Oscar again in his life, I don't think. You know, he could, but I just don't think it's likely.
Mm-hmm.
Will got his big moment finally. Finally, that was his big moment. And he was like, I'm going to go ahead and paint that. Yeah. You know, all this other stuff that was happening that night, and that's the only thing people can talk about. Only thing. So,
Well,
it's just like,
but you gotta,
it probably should have happened. And well, there's no probably behind it. It should not have happened. And, you know, I just, it's just unfortunate.
yeah, it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, and like I said, it does reflect badly on black folks, especially after the whole Oscar so white controversy a few years ago. So it's like, man, we finally get these motherfuckers a chance, and see, that's why black folks can't have nice things.
And now you got these freaking quote unquote conservative, I'll just say racist commentators on Fox talking about this is not the hood. Like, shut up. Like, really? That's what you're gonna say? So inherently, black people is the hood.
Yeah.
You do that. You think in the hood people just go around slapping people, right?
Nah, we don't do that. But and once again, that's a collateral damage. That's the fallout from it, man. There's a whole lot of fallout, and that's one of them. That the you know the folks, the talking heads on places like Fox get a chance to to stick the knife in the black folks and twist it again. So they're gonna take full advantage of that. That's been happening, obviously. A lot of folks online and social media and all that kind of stuff. They're gonna have their little field day. Fine, go ahead, do that. But at the end of the day, none of them beat my ass anyway. So Tucker Carlson can't beat nobody's ass, all right? So
you know what?
he can buy you, but he can't beat your ass. So.
This has nothing to do with the situation.
What?
But if there's anybody on TV that I want to beat to death, it's him.
I feel you, man. I feel you. That's why I said his name. You know what I mean? But like I said, there are gonna be moments where we're gonna have our chance to come back at them as well. So I mean, right now they get the upper hand, but there'll be another situation where we'll get to kind of swing the ledger back to our side and whatever. So okay, now to wrap things up, talking about collateral damage, I'll talk a little bit that Chris's career is taking a bit of an upswing. He's gonna make some money off of this. Whereas Will's career has made a bit of a downturn. He resigned from the Academy. They're still going to discipline him in some way. There are some talks that they might try to take the Oscar from him, which is stupid because he earned it.
He actually earned it.
Yeah,
like,
he earned
I
it.
don't think
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. I doubt they'll do that, but obviously there are folks calling for that. I read today that Netflix has backed off on a movie that that he was producing with them. They at least kind of slowed it down a little bit. And he's got a movie that he's in post-production on he did for Apple that might get delayed a little bit. So his career is going to take a little bit of a hit, but Will's credit score with the movie industry and with white folks in general, with white America, is like 900. You know what I mean? Right. So he might lose a few points, but he gonna get his credit back. He's gonna rebuild his credit. And he'll be fine. Obviously. Whatever movie he comes out with, it's going to have a heightened sense of interest because of the incident. I mean, because they say when especially comes to show business, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So right. It's going to pique interest in Will's next project that does come out, same as it has piqued interest in Chris's comedy routine. Because folks want to see Chris go off on this situation in his comedy routine, which Chris will do at some point. So he has a lot of fertile ground, to cultivate, and this is going to be a huge boon for Chris's career, especially because obviously he's more like the victim in this. He gets all the sympathy, so he's gonna get a lot of opportunities. He's already rich and famous, but he's going to get a whole lot more opportunities out of this whole situation. So all that being said, you got anything else you want to add before I close up shop?
Not really. Just once again, I wish it had never happened. I would have preferred it happen with, Chris Pratt and Patton Oswalt or something. I don't know.
Well, that being said, listeners, I'm back. By the way, I know it's been going for a minute. I'm back. So chime in. Let me know what you think. Are you Team Will? Or you Team Chris? Or are you neutral? Kind of like Jake. And what would you have done if posed with the same situation and the same stature in the whole nine, and the same amount of consequences facing you, what would you have done in that circumstance? Men, what would you have done? Women, what would you have wanted your man to do? So chime in, comment below, let me know, hit me up, whatlonzothinks@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter as well, on Facebook and the whole nine. I'm back and better than ever. And yeah, Will Smith, Man in Black.
Wow.
So y'all, tell me what y'all think, because damn it, y'all just heard what Lonzo thinks. Bye.